I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. President Joe Biden signed H.R. 3525 into law on Monday. This bill allows for the creation of a commission to study the potential creation of a National Museum of Asian Pacific American History and Culture. During remarks before the signing, Vice President Kamala Harris touted the importance of the museum, saying, quote, "By equipping people with knowledge and historical context, then we can fight ignorance, dispel misinformation, and work towards a future where all people can live without fear." Listen in for more from the event.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Please have a seat. Good afternoon, everyone. President Biden, Speaker Pelosi, members of Congress, and my fellow Americans, it is an honor to be gathered with you today and to be joined by so many former colleagues from the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus. In particular, Congresswoman Grace Meng, you did so much to make this day possible. Thank you for that. So when my mother was 19 years old, she came to the United States from India to become a breast cancer researcher. Growing up, my mother made sure that my sister Maya and I learned of the important, glorious history of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders in America. Because that, of course, is part of the history of America. To teach this history is to help all of us as Americans understand where we come from. And to teach this history is to help us understand who we are. The National Museum of Asian Pacific American History and Culture will teach and tell the story of our country. This is a story about heroes who shaped our nation for the better. From the South Asian Americans who helped transform farming up and down the Pacific coast, to the Japanese Americans who defended our freedom during World War II, to the Chinese American garment workers who marched through the streets of New York City 40 years ago to win better pay and benefits for all workers. This is also a story about some of our country's darkest moments. The Chinese Exclusion Act, the internment of Japanese Americans, the murder of Vincent Chen, discrimination against South Asian Americans after 9/11, and today's epidemic of hate, which is fueling violent acts against many communities, including the AA and NHPI community. Because you see, this is also American history. And we must teach it as it really happened, so that we can learn from our best moments and learn from our darkest moments, and in particular then, to ensure they are never repeated, our darkest moments. By equipping people with knowledge and historical context, then we can fight ignorance, dispel misinformation, and work toward a future where all people can live without fear, and a future where all people can help write the next chapter of American history. With that, it is my great honor to introduce the President of the United States, Joe Biden.